Good morning, students. Today also we will do grammar, and today we will do subject and predicate. I'm sure this topic is not new to you, you'll have already done it, but still I will do this as an exercise. Now, what is subject and predicate? A sentence, you can divide it into two parts. One is the subject, that is who is doing the action, and second is predicate, which tells you more about like how the action is done, when the action is done, why the action is done, on whom the action is done. Okay, so a sentence is made up of two parts, the subject and the predicate. The subject is a word or a phrase. Now a word could be just the lion, or you can say the lion and his courtiers. This is a phrase. Okay, when you're saying only the lion, you're talking of only one noun. Yes, that is your subject. When you're saying the lion and his courtiers, it is not only just the lion, there is something else also in that. So that's why it's a phrase. Clear? So they are all doing the action. Supposing I say the lion ran. So who ran? The action is ran. Correct? But then who ran? You ask the question who ran or what ran. So here your answer is the lion. Who is doing that action running? The lion. Now I'll say the lion and his courtiers ran. So again the action is the same. But then you will ask the question who did that action? Who did that action of running? Then you will see it's the lion and his courtiers. Clear? So don't make the mistake. Sometimes children in a hurry just see the lion and they underline it. But you are supposed to start whenever you are doing subject and predicate. Start by searching for the verb in that, the action in that, and then see who is doing the action. Because it's not necessary that the action that the person doing the action is this always first. Yes, not necessary that the sentence starts with the subject. Yes, now the sentence is could be an inversion. I taught you all grammar inversion, right? Figures of speech. So that time the subject will be at the end of the sentence, not in the beginning of the sentence. So that's why you should always look out first for the verb and then see who is doing that action. Clear? That person or the phrase that indicates who is doing the action is the subject. Okay? Okay. Now always you should remember the predicate always contains the verb. Yes? You will not have a verb in the sentence. Yes, you will not have a verb in the sentence. Okay. I'll give you another example for this. I'll say that man is my uncle. Okay. So here, what is the verb? Is. Remember I said to be. Yes, verb to be. So is the action or the verb. Now who is the is? That man. So that man is your subject. Now supposing I say that man with the long hair is my uncle. Again you have is as your action or your verb, and who is that is? Not just that man, but that man with the long hair. Clear? That man with the long hair. The whole thing will be your subject. Clear? So don't ever just see a noun and just underline it and forget the rest of it. You have to look out for the verb, because generally if your sentence is starting with the subject, your subject will be till you are reaching the verb. Yes, that's 99% of it, till you're reaching the verb. From the verb your predicate starts from the verb. Okay, now you can see the example. The first example, the crew were waiting for orders from him. So what is the action here? Were waiting. So who was waiting? I ask the question. Look out for the verb. Were waiting is the action. Who was doing this action? The crew. So that is your subject. And also I told you, remember, there are two things you should remember. One is look out for your verb and then see who is doing that action. Okay, so that is your answer. Second thing is 99% of the time from where you marked your verb, where you saw your verb, were waiting, from there your predicate starts. Your predicate starts from your action. Okay, see the second example. The young crow had fallen from its nest. So again, had, I said to have, possession, had. Okay, all these are also verbs. Now had is a verb. So now who had? You ask the question, who had? The young crow had. So the young crow is your subject. And second point I told you to remember is not only ask the question but remember from your verb. The predicate starts from your verb. Okay. Now, usually the subject occurs before the predicate. Sometimes, however, the subject occurs after the predicate or in the middle of the predicate. Now, I will give you examples of where it occurs in the middle. Okay. Now, this is as I told you, inversion. When it's an inversion, it doesn't occur in the beginning, it occurs at the end of the sentence. Or if the sentence is not in the proper prose order, it can occur anywhere in the whole sentence. Okay. Up in the sky soared the bird. Now look out, what is your action? Action is soared. Now you ask the question, who soared the bird? See, don't get mixed with the sky. The sky is also there. You will mark the sky. So that's why very important to look at or find out for your verb. Yes, find out which is your verb and then see who is doing that action. So your answer is the subject is the bird and up in the sky is your predicate. Next one, in my coat should peacocks flaunt. Now what is the action? Should flaunt. Flaunt means to show off. Yes, should flaunt is your action. Yes, now who should flaunt? The peacocks. Who should flaunt? Who should show off? The peacocks. So your answer is your subject is your peacocks. Who is doing this flaunting? The peacocks. So that is your subject. The rest of it, in my coat should flaunt or should flaunt in my coat, is your predicate. Okay. The last one, the root. I will try to explain. Now, what is your action? To explain or will try to explain. Will try. Correct? What is your action? Will try. Who will try? Who will try to explain? I. Who will try? I. So I is your subject. So will try to explain. Your predicate will be, don't forget the word, the root in front, otherwise you will leave it there. So we will try to explain, the root is your predicate. I hope this much is clear. Okay. Now we move on to the exercise. The exercise is very easy. The first question you have to underline the subject and in the second question you have to underline the predicate. So here you will read the sentence as I told you, look out or search for the verb. Then ask the question who or what. Okay, now I'll just do the first one as an example. Her own friends had turned against her. What is the action? Had turned. Correct? Now you will ask the question who had turned. So you get the answer, her own friends. So her own friends is the subject. So you will underline her own friends. Now I will just read the sentences. The second day's attraction was a circus on the moon. Oh, there's a mistake in writing the numbers. You just write it as it is. From my school, I will try to borrow. This trip to the moon was exorbitantly expensive. Means very expensive. Very, very, very extremely expensive. The dome-shaped settlements on the moon. Dome means round. Yes, like have you seen the dome of the Taj Mahal? You know, the upper part of the Taj Mahal. It's round in shape. Resembling means looking like. The igloos of the Eskimos were now visible. Means could be seen. All the other animals in the forest called him king. The lion next called a leopard to his side. Early next morning, the lion and his courtiers started off on the camel hunt. The fox, the leopard and the vulture looked at the camel. Okay, moving on to question number 2. Underline the predicate. Here you will underline the predicate. So here what you have to do is, it's a little bit tricky because you have to, again same thing, start by asking the question or finding the verb. Yes, the lion had invited you to live at his court. Again, what is the action? Has invited. Now you will ask the question, who has invited? Okay, you get the answer, the lion. So the rest of the whole sentence you will underline over here. Yes, you will underline the rest of the whole sentence. What you get as an answer, you will not underline. Clear? So you will underline has invited you to live at his court. The second one, high up in the cooler air flew the vulture. He was Mr. Duncan Ross, a representative of the Red-Headed League. This is the name of a league. They would be able to enter the bank without breaking open the doors of the bank. Holmes, here they're talking of Sherlock Holmes. Holmes handed over Mr. Clay to the policeman. The king's advisors were frightened. Away flew the vulture. The fox pushed the vulture aside. So this is your homework where you just have to underline. Now when you're doing your homework, you are writing the first sentence, underlining the answer. No need of writing it down again because here it's mentioned just to underline it. But in case in the exam or anywhere else, if they say divide the sentence into subject and predicate, you will write it down again at that time. Here they have only asked you to underline. Clear? So that's why you will only underline. Whereas if they say divide the subject, the sentence into subject and predicate, you will write subject, write the answer, next line, predicate, write the answer. Then leave a line and write a next question. Okay? Now here you don't have to do that. You just have to underline. So you just write the sentence, a lion has invited you to live at his court, and leave a line and write the next question, and there you can just underline the answer on your sentence. If you are not very sure, underline with the pencil. Clear? Okay, hope you all are able to answer everything and correctly, because this is not a very difficult topic since it has already been done before and this is just like a revision. Okay, thank you and do have a nice day. Do complete your homework.